in the park.
Yeah, I'm homeless.
Oh, okay.
I'm homeless for one reason only. I can reach more people that way.
You can talk to more people. I when I first moved up here, I was working up here, but I was living in Escondido, and I bought a vehicle I could nap in rather than go back and forth.
Yeah.
And I got more done.
Yeah,
Once I got a place,
amazing.
I sleep more.
Yeah.
So
my concern is if I go back to an apartment or a room for rent or something like that, I'm not ever going to get out of bed.
right.
This forces me to walk. I have to walk about 6-7 hours a day to keep my legs from having muscle atrophy.
Okay.
So, and that's another reason I did my walk in March. March 1st of last year, I put on an 85-pound backpack. I've never done anything like this in my life. I've never walked long distance. I've never tried to. I used to go camping with my family as a little boy,
Right.
so I know how to put on a backpack.
Yeah.
So I put on an 85-pound backpack and I walked from the border of Mexico to the border of Oregon and back.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. This isn't something you not only got your life back, but you got a life that is even more active than it was before.
Oh yeah, oh definitely.
So what gave you the idea to start the walk?
Without trying to sound morbid, I almost committed suicide twice for the pain. It came close. I couldn't deal with the tremors and the pain and the lack of sleep anymore. The shaking doesn't stop when you go to sleep.
Right.
It's still there. You never get that REM sleep, so you're exhausted 24/7. Now you have to take some medicine, but then they give you pain medicine, and then that just knocks you out for 2 or 3 days. That's not a way to live. And the pain would get so bad, the constipation would get so bad, the eyes flickering all the time, so you couldn't focus, got so bad, you just didn't want to be on the earth anymore. When they tell you got 4 to 6 months to live, and you're, how would I say this without trying to sound like I'm wanting attention? When you don't have much to live for and you're laying there in bed, you can't walk, you can't get out of bed without falling. You have people taking you to the bathroom, people feeding you, you can't hold a cup of coffee, you can't hold a fork or knife in your hands, and you're relying on other people for your pure existence. You're not living anymore, you're just alive.
Right.
You have to question it, and I questioned it for myself twice, to the point to where I almost made that decision. After my surgery, I knew something. I knew that there's other people out there, the same boat I'm in. And if I told myself if I could help one person by getting awareness out there so they could have the same surgery, I would do that. And as of to this date, I think 9 people have had surgery.
So 9 people have been inspired by you or found out about surgery and have acted and taken the surgery.
Correct.
That's exciting. And you said, I think Sunday when we were talking, you said 27 people that you know of have had the surgery so far?
9 people.
Just 9 total?
9 people that I know
that
of.
you know of. Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
that
so we
have
don't
actually
know.
taken the time to either email me or call me on the phone or Facebook me or message me on Facebook. You know, telling me that their dad had surgery after he saw my video, or they're looking into it and this kind of stuff.
Excellent. So, and the company that built the equipment?
It's called Medtronic.
Medtronic.
Yeah.
Okay. I was reading about them last night, and they're building a robot that will help doctors do heart surgery.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
The sad part about Medtronic is I think they're a great billion-dollar company, but they're moving to Ireland, from what I understand. They're one of the 5 biggest companies that have ever decided to move to Ireland.
Yeah, I think part of that stems from, unfortunately, one of the things in Obamacare is it extremely taxes prosthetics. And they label some of this stuff as prosthetics, and so it's unfortunate. But they are also there's more places over in Europe and Asia that allow these types of surgeries to occur. So that's part of the reason they're moving closer to there. So when you started your walk, you started at the Mexican border.
Yes.
And does the Pacific Crest Trail start right there?
It does,
Okay.
but not the same place I was at.
Not the same place where you started.
Correct. Tijuana was my stopping spot.
Okay.
My starting spot. I wanted to take the coastal route up.
Okay.
I looked on a California map, and fortunately, there's state parks and national parks along the coast
Right.
that you can stay at and they're about 60, 80 miles apart. It's a 3-day walk for me. Not at first, but as I walked.
60 miles is a 3-day walk?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a pretty good pace.
Yeah. The first couple of weeks, I was only doing maybe 4 or 5 miles a day. I wasn't in discomfort. Again, these things in my brain, for some reason, masked a lot of the normal everyday stresses that you normally have walking. So they have what they call, something I was not familiar with, bike and hikes.
Bike and hike?
Bike and hikes. Instead of paying the $35 or $40 a night to pull in with an RV, you can ride a bike into these sites, or you walk in and backpack into these sites. You only have $35. You just put up a tent and sleep there all night long and be gone in the morning.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
and I came across many people riding bikes from Canada. They fly in from Europe. They fly in from Switzerland, France. Hundreds of them.
So you got to meet a lot of international travelers.
I met a lot of them, and a lot of them are just very well-educated women that are into bike riding and long distance rides. And they travel by themselves. They're very comfortable, very safe. They can make that trip in a day.
Wow. With the 60 miles?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
They average about 80 to 100 miles a day, most of them. They're quick and they're very, very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Athletic?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exciting. So you got to make some friends along the way?
Made a lot of friends.
That's cool.
I was very fortunate. My family was worried about me. They kept saying, there's a lot of crazy people out there. You're going to get hurt. You won't make it back. I didn't meet one. When I came back to San Dimas, my church is here, UCC Church, United Church of Christ. The pastor asked me if I could put into one sentence what I brought back to the church. Then I had to tell her the comfort I had with knowing that we're going to be okay as a society. I was surprised that the youth, the 20 to 25 to 30-year-olds, had so much compassion for life, for somebody's differences, their race, their sexual orientation, their hair color. I mean, anything different about them, they celebrated. And I found that so heartwarming and amazing, so refreshing to know that, sure, they're a little bit opinionated and they have what I call, again, I have a hard time thinking, I hope you didn't leave this part out of it.
We'll make you look good.
When you have your hand out all the time, what's that called?
Begging?
No. There's a word that they use all the time.
Entitled.
Yeah.
Yes.
They feel entitled.
Yes.
And sometimes rightfully so. I mean, we as adults and we as the older society made it that way for them.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I don't blame them for feeling entitled. But what comes in that is a long line of thinkers. They're very intelligent. They're very giving. And I like that about that. I think we're going to be okay as a nation. I think we're going to be okay as a society if we can just keep that flow going.
We don't continue to try and alienate those people.
Yeah.
The try to bring together the people who are different, rather than try to separate us from that. Obviously, there's good people and there's bad people, and fortunately, you met a lot of good people.
I met all good people.
So sometimes there's a reason for what happens in our lives.
Yes.
And
I also think that if you project goodness comes your way.
It very much so. There's scientific evidence that what you believe and what you assume and think is more likely to fulfill in your life than the opposite. So if you're thinking, man, life is terrible, you're going to start seeing all the terrible things in life.
Yeah.
But you having come from, you're going to die in 6 months, to what? How many? How long has it been now? A year
Well, it's been a year and a half.
since they told you were going to die, and you have a fresh outlook on life. Something that a lot of people will never get is a chance to go, wow, there's more to life than just getting by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no bills. None, zero, nada. I don't take any medicine now. What money that I do have, I'm enjoying life again. I'm going to the movies. I'm having dinner with friends. I'm doing what I want to do now. I don't
Well,
have-
hopefully, I'll be able to become one of those friends you have dinner with, and
I would like that.
and go to a movie with. That'd be
I would
cool.
like that. I would like that.
That's one of the things that my meetup is the idea of my meetup is called Balanced Life Vision, and the focus I have is that a lot of people they ignore the aspect of community service or being a service to others, or even just thinking about their neighbor. And I think that if they add that into their life, in addition to seeking the way to pay the bills and exercise and fitness, they'll have a more balanced life. And if they design their vision for what they want to do in life, and you have a very balanced life vision, in my opinion, will be more of what is from the inside, rather than what is somebody telling you this is what you should do in life, that you should be rich or you should be, and so one of the things I want to do is, in addition to helping them bring that vision, is go out and do stuff with people who are trying to balance their life, do movies, do the park, stuff like that. So more than welcome to join us.
Which park?
Well, it depends.
Probably what I sleep in.
Maybe
Maybe.
we'll have a barbecue there someday.
Yeah.
So tell us about a couple of the places you went that were really memorable. I know you have a letter here from one of your.
The most memorable for me when I started my walk was my bucket list of sleeping in Pebble Beach Golf Course. So on a Tuesday night, I get to Monterey area, past around the Carmel area, and I come across I think it's called the 17-mile trail. And I come through Pebble Beach area, and I said to myself, man, if I could just find a hole in this fence, I bet you it'd be nice just to go sleep on the golf course. And I did. I found a hole in the fence around 10 o'clock at night. It had already gotten dark. The sun was already down. So I looked around. I didn't see nobody around, so I just threw my backpack through the hole and climbed through it. And on the 13th green, I set up a tent. Slept very nice. Every noise I heard, I sat straight up, thinking I was going to get caught.
Oh, that's funny.
It was just to say that I did it.
Right.
I mean, that's the wild side of my life, I guess. Just to say, I don't know if there's a law against sleeping on there.
I slept on the golf course in Catalina.
Not Pebble Beach.
No, in Catalina. I went to Catalina, and a friend of mine was a pilot. This one I was on like 16. He was 18, and I had another friend with us. And so
Couple brewskis.
we didn't win.
Oh, good.
We wandered through Catalina, and then we found this place to throw our sleeping bags out. So we're all worried that we're getting in trouble. There's a country club and a golf course there. When we woke up, there was about 50 people sleeping in different places around us.
How interesting. No, nobody. I got out about 7 in the morning, got my tent up and sleeping bag rolled up, put it in my backpack, and I was out by 7. Out back to the same hole that I snuck in. And
Wow.
I was in Monterey doing a newscast when the news commentator asked me, Vince, where are you going from here? And I said, well, I haven't been to Big Sur yet. I'm about halfway through my trip, so I need to rest for about a week. So I probably told her Big Sur would be a good place to go. I've been there as a kid, and I really like the area. It's a beautiful area. So on the 4th day camping at the Viking hike at Big Sur, the park ranger came to my tent. A very nice lady. She said, Mr. Vincent, are you okay for company? And I said, sure. I came out of my tent, and there was a family from India there. A young lady named Maya, her mother, and 2 brothers. I asked, how can I help you? They introduced themselves to me, informed me that their father had stage 3 Parkinson's. They've been trying to get help for him for years now, and they had no success. They saw my news article, my news interview, and decided to come to where I was at to see if they could find me, and they did so. I gave her my neurosurgeon's phone number, all the contact information that I could do, so to make sure to put them on the right path. And they went on their way. I woke up the next morning, and this was on tape to my tent. I don't know if you can see it well enough or not.
That's cool. We'll get a picture of that and put it on there. So
just a thank you letter and a beautiful, beautiful Big Sur panoramic hand-drawn scene. When I was at my worst on my walk and couldn't make it anymore because I was just exhausted, I would pull out my wallet and look at it and say, okay, there's somebody else out there I need to reach.
Yeah.
The second, I would say third thing that impressed me the most about the trip, I'm pretty much done with my trip. Decided to come back. Winter's coming along and it's getting quite cold. So I'm around the Redding area. I'm leaving a campsite and there's this beautiful, beautiful RV pulled up alongside of me and asked me if I knew where this particular restaurant was. And I said, no, I'm not from the area. And they recognized me from the news. And she says, the lady, they're from Germany, a young married couple, they had 2 children. And the motorhome must have cost $1 million. This thing was massive. It was beautiful, beautiful. One of the best looking motorhomes I've ever seen. She says, how far are you going? I said, I'm going to Ontario. She says, well, we're going to Ontario. Can we give you a lift? And I thought, all right, this is an answer from God. Let's just jump in and go. So I had a nice lunch with them before we took off. And I fell asleep in one of those big leather reclining chairs behind the driver's seat. I woke up and we're past Mount Shasta. I was headed north again. When I asked them, I thought, where we were going, they said Ontario, Canada. I hadn't dawned on me that they were, I was thinking Ontario,
California.
California. I'm heading back to LA and they're going up north. So I knew at that point that there was more for me to do. I think I'm being guided by higher powers.
Right.
So I got off shook their hand, gave a big hug, and got off the motorhome. And as soon as I stepped out, my phone went off. This gentleman from Salt Lake City, Utah Veterans Administration. We saw you on the news. We'd like to invite you to VA hospital in Salt Lake City to talk to our staff. We're starting a DBS team, and we've never met anybody that's had the surgery before. We'd like to have you come up and talk to us.
Exciting.
So I made it up there, I should say across there, to Salt Lake City. There were 9 prospective doctors, surgeons. I contacted my neurosurgeon, Dr. Devin Binder, here in Pomona, and he sent us some flyers, brochures for me to study and read and pass out. So that helped me out quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So I got a standing ovation when all was said and done, and I thought that was pretty exciting for me. That's probably the 4th exciting thing that happened to me on the trip.
And where was that at?
It's Salt Lake City, Utah.
Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah. Yeah, I took a Greyhound there and took her back to Sacramento area.
I used to drive for Greyhound.
No.
I did it for 2.5 years before we went on strike, and then I was still employed by them for 4.5 years. But when I had to come back, had been working for this light rail system in San Diego, and they didn't have charters anymore. One of the things I like is going around with people's vacations, and getting to enjoy their vacation for a living.
And get paid for it.
Yeah, and so they got rid of that. So most of that was gone. So I just stayed working, and I've been in the railroad industry ever since. So.
The most dangerous but memorable part of my trip was while I was in Illinois Valley, Oregon.
What part of Oregon?
Illinois Valley.
Illinois Valley?
It is almost to a town called Selma.
Okay.
It's between Grants Pass and Cave Junction on the 199.
I had friends in Grants Pass. I went to Oregon State.
Ah.
So
I've been camping there for about a week, just to see the beauty. Kind of look for some gold nuggets while I was in.
Did you find anything?
Nah.
You keep looking.
Found a bear.
That's not what you want to find.
No. But I was there for a week, camping next to the river. It was a designated camping area. They had a porta potty close by, so I can rush there if I needed to. About 2 in the morning, I heard some noise that sounded like rushing water. It had rained upstate probably for about 2 days. It never dawned on me that it might be a troublesome issue.
Right.
I look out of my tent, and there's water on both sides of me.
You're in the middle of a river.
I'm in the middle of a river.
Oh my goodness.
So I grabbed my backpack and I threw it close to the shore as I can get it, and it hit the shore and it stuck on the side of the bank. I turned for the tent and the rest of my stuff, my phone, my clothes, my everything, and the tent and everything was washing away.
Oh my goodness.
Now there's snow on both sides of the bank. It is snowing, light snow. It wasn't snowing very hard. So I made a jump for it. I got about 2 foot from the shore and waist water deep. And
wow.
30 degree weather outside. So I thought to myself, okay, now the fine mess you got me into. How am I going to avoid this? The closest town was Cave Junction,
Cave Junction, okay.
which was about 12 miles away. This is 2 in the morning now, and there's only one path. So I figured I better start getting down the road before I freeze to death.
Right.
Hypothermia was setting in real quick because I was so drenched.
Right. Oh, wait a second. My brother, he worked for the Coast Guard in Astoria, and they had 3 minutes to find the people that fell into the Columbia River before they would start getting hypothermia and probably die. So they had a 3 minute window to. Okay.
Well, I looked up at the heavens and said, okay, here we go. And I started walking. Got about 2 miles from my campsite, and alongside the road, somebody had stripped out a brand new dealer plate still on the car, BMW. The tires were gone, the engine was gone. They stripped it out. The radio, the stereo system was gone. The trunk was popped open. They just took everything they could. It wasn't nailed down. I reached my backpack and I got my Bowie knife and I cut out the back seat leather seats. Made a poncho.
Oh, okay.
Right there in the middle of 3 o'clock in the morning, in the middle of.
We won't put this on just in case they want.
Oh, I didn't steal the car.
I know.
To me, it was put there for a reason.
Right.
And this is how the whole trip went. The whole trip was like this. Anything I needed, I would turn a corner and there it would be.
There you go.
So it doesn't matter if it was food, doesn't matter if it was water, it doesn't matter what it was. My friends kept telling me, Vince, why are you putting God to a test like this? And I said, I'm not putting him to a test. I'm just trusting.
It's more of you getting a chance to experience God. That's pretty cool.
So I put on a poncho, put my clothes back on. At least I was dry. Took the leather strap off the steering wheel and made a belt out of it.
Oh wow!
Tightened my poncho.
That's good.
And walked the 12 miles back into town, and everything was closed. There was nothing open at all, except a gas station, and they wasn't letting me warm up. So I found the post office. That the business side was closed, but where you go in to get your mail,
it was open.
That was open. There was 72 degrees in there. So I pushed a tree out of the corner of one of the potted plants. Just snuggled up in the corner and went to sleep. They kicked me out at 9 o'clock the next morning. Went to the Salvation Army for $3. Got me some new clothes, and they were very empathetic.
That's very good.
And helped me out quite a bit. So at that point, I decided it was time to go home. So home I went. I was on the road 10 months and 2 days. I traveled 1,527 miles.
1,527. Wow. Okay. We're doing a